Arlington Church.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, that's right. Whatever.
Anna, if you'd call roll, please.
Charnas.
Here.
Here.
Bilski. Kluter.
Yes.
Perry. Here. Braverman.
He said here.
I'm here alone.
Huber.
I'll make a motion to confirm the appointment of Maxwell Rapkin to the Fire Department as a part-time firefighter paramedic. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Chief, if you'd like to come up and introduce.
Hi, I'm asking for the appointment tonight of Maxwell Rapkin. You want to raise your hand over there? There you go. He's comes to us with part-time experience from Brecksville. I think he's been there 2.5 years. He's been at Life Care, which is the ambulance service for Lorain County, for 4 years. He has a degree from Kent State in criminology. But he came to his senses and he made the right choice, and he's going to be a fireman. So he's a 240 firefighter and he's a paramedic.
All right, thank you. Anybody have any questions, comments? If you'd call roll, please.
Charnas.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Bilski.
Yes.
Kluter.
Yes.
Perry. Yes. Braverman. Yes. Duber.
Yes, why don't you come forward and the mayor will administer the oath.
Family, you can walk anywhere you want. You can come behind me, you can come anywhere you want. Want to do this? All right, they forgot to mention it. Okay. State your name.
I, Maxwell Rapkin,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United
that I will
States,
support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
rules, regulations,
the rules, regulations,
and Charter of Orange Village,
and Charter of Orange Village,
and that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
honestly, and impartially
honestly, and impartially
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
as part-time firefighter paramedic
as part-time firefighter paramedic
of Orange Village, State of Ohio,
of Orange Village, State of Ohio,
during my continuance in said office.
during my continuance in said office.
Congratulations. Wear this proudly.
Congrats, welcome.
Yeah. Middle name.
I'll make a motion to confirm the appointment of Adam Babinski to the fire department as a part-time firefighter paramedic. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Chief, if you would, please.
Adam, raise your hand there. There you go. Adam Bobinski, he's been with us before. Adam took a few years off from us for some family matters, and now he actually wants to come back, so we must be doing something right. Adam works at Lyndhurst full-time. He's been there for 21 years. He's a 240 firefighter and a paramedic. He likes donuts.
Donuts.
I was just going to make the joke, and I didn't know if it was
Duck
appropriate.
Donuts over at,
There's a lot of people with guns in here, so,
you gonna
Any
be
other-
over at Pinecrest?
other comments, donuts or otherwise? If you'd call roll, please.
Charnas.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Bilski.
Yes.
Kluter.
Yes.
Perry. Yes. Braverman. Yes. Duber.
Yes, you can come on up here, and the mayor will administer the oath, please.
I state your name.
I, Adam Bobinski,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the rules, regulations, and Charter of Orange Village,
the Charter of Orange Village,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
honestly, and impartially
honestly, and impartially
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
as a part-time firefighter paramedic
as part-time firefighter paramedic
of Orange Village, State of Ohio,
of Orange Village, State of Ohio.
during my continuance in said office.
During my continuance in said office.
Congratulations.
Congrats. Yep.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Congratulations.
By the way, we will get you suitable for framing copies.
I'll make a motion to confirm the appointment of Joshua Woodrich to the Orange Village Police Department as a full-time police officer. Is there a second?
Second.
There you go, on the ball.
Back on it.
Before we started, I wanted him to introduce family and friends that are here.
On the left here, we got my brother, that's Jonathan. In the middle, this beautiful lady right here, that's my mother. And on the right, it's my girlfriend, Nicole. I did not.
No, we're going to get to that part because we would have had to rent a different place if his whole family was there. For council, Joshua is a native of Northeast Ohio. He's the son of Matthew Woodrich and Michelle LaFleur, and has 6 siblings and 6 step-siblings. So there could have been a full house here at some point in time, if the time been right. Secondly, he studied criminal justice at Bluffton University, where he's a member of the Ohio Council of Criminal Justice Education. While at Bluffton, he had the opportunity to participate in a semester-long cross-cultural experience in Guatemala. Josh lived with a family there and participated and volunteered to assist people that, indigenous people of Guatemala that needed some help. And he was working and building and repairing things to make their people's lives better. He's a graduate of the University of Akron Police Academy in January of 2019 and has been serving in the Case Western Reserve community as a police officer since March of 2019. I ask for your confirmation.
Comments? All right, if you call roll, please.
Charnas.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Bilski.
Yes.
Cluter. Perry. Yes.
Yes.
Braverman. Duber.
Yes.
You can come anywhere you want, get a better view. We appreciate that this is a nice big...
Behind here if you want.
Behind us.
The best view right here.
Come down there, too. State your name.
I, Joshua Woodrich,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the rules, regulation,
the rules, regulations,
and charter of Orange Village,
and charter of Orange Village,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
honestly, and impartially
honestly, and impartially
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
as full-time police officer
as full-time police officer
of Orange Village, State of Ohio,
of Orange Village, State of Ohio,
during my continuance in said office.
during my continuance in said office.
Congratulations, welcome aboard. Wear this proudly. Would you like somebody to pin it on you? Huh? Okay. And you want to sign here? Whatever you want to pin. Yeah, John?
Talk to the camera. Yep.
And I'll make a motion to confirm the appointment of Victoria Bittenbinder to the Orange Village Police Department as a part-time police officer. Is there a second?
Second.
You.
I'm going to give Victoria the opportunity to introduce who's here for her.
My mom, Yelena, my sister, Katie, my other sister, Anastasia, my little sister, Veronica, my dad, Alex, my son, Olga, and my daughter, and Sir Shendy, which is my sister-in-law.
Council. Victoria's been a police officer since 2017 at Woodmere Village. She graduated from the University of Akron in May of 2016 with a bachelor in sociology, criminology, and law enforcement. In addition, Victoria has a degree in political science with a minor in criminal justice. Victoria was honored to be on the academic dean's list for a couple of semesters throughout her college career. In December 2016, Victoria graduated from the University of Akron Basic Police Academy. She has several trainings, including crisis intervention. Victoria was born and raised in Israel. She can fluently speak Hebrew, Russian, and English. Her family immigrated to the United States in 2007, and she became a citizen in 2018. She now resides in Cuyahoga Falls with her mother and two sisters and daughter, Sophia. Victoria likes to spend time with her family and friends and enjoys outdoor activities.
Thanks, Chief. Any other comments, questions? If you call roll, please.
Jarnes?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
Bilski?
Yes.
Luder?
Yes.
Perry? Yes. Braverman?
Yes.
Huber?
Yes.
Ready?
I state your name. I, Victoria Bittenbinder,
You solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the rules, regulations,
the rules, regulations,
and Charter of Orange Village,
and Charter of Orange Village,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
honestly, and impartially
honestly, and impartially
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
as part-time police officer
as part-time police officer
of Orange Village, State of Ohio,
of Orange Village, State of Ohio,
during my continuance in said office.
during my continuance in state of office.
In said office.
In said-
Congratulations. Wait, everybody come back.
Go. When did you,
Oh, your father's going to pin it on you.
from Israel?
2016.
IDF training, did you?
No, she left before that.
Before?
No, I don't.
All right, your father's going to pin on the badge and then. That's Mommy. It's a whole new thing.
Be careful when you say that, like the babies.
That's how the shit starts.
Congrats, welcome aboard.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Didn't say that
Congrats to everybody. You're more than welcome to stay, but
Had to clear a room.
that.
Well, let's wait till they all empty out.
Or Dave thought everybody was here for him.
I heard that.
Hey, she wants to stay.
I'm surprised, but I understand.
Oh, she wants to stay.
Well, it's going to be a while before you're going to build it. It's a ground up project, so.
Close the doors.
Ended that summer. So that's about a year.
Right.
No?
Thank you all for staying.
Enjoy your company over here.
We'd like to introduce Dave Conley an external affairs consultant from CEI, the illuminating company, who'd like to come and give a presentation.
Okay. Gotta have you go down a little bit sometime. No, that was great.
You could come up to the microphone, please. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me tonight and letting me come out and introduce myself. So I am your Regional External Affairs Consultant with the Illuminating Company. You may remember my predecessor, Dave Dillon. So I am the new Dave, just the younger but shorter and slightly fatter version. So the contact information is all the same, which hopefully you all have my card at this point, so that's helpful.
One more.
A bit about me. I have been with First Energy for about 9.5 years, new to this role earlier this year. So my role as your Regional External Affairs Consultant is to really be your liaison, your connection to the Illuminating Company. If you have questions or concerns that can't be resolved through the normal channels, you can come to me and I can help kind of resolve that for you. I work mostly with public officials, the service department, police, fire department, and you folks as well. So because I can't go anywhere empty-handed, I wanted to bring a little pamphlet. So this is something I think is useful for you folks, but also useful for your constituents as well. So I would love to not ever be able to talk about outages, but they do happen. It's the reality of our business. So some of the most important things is to be able to manage through those safely and effectively. So with that, this pamphlet, I've left a number with Ms. Girardi, and there's also some back here for residents and so that they can take or have around village office to give the folks to help them. One of the most important pieces for us, though, is that we know that there's an outage. So reporting the outage. You may hear during storms, during outage situations, residents are calling you to do that. What I would try to encourage folks to do is to make sure they're reporting it to the Illuminating Company. There's a couple easy ways to do it. My favorite is either calling the 888 lights number, which is the lights with an extra S. It's also in the pamphlet, or just using the mobile website. Not everybody has one, but I know I carry my smartphone around with me everywhere. The company's put a lot of resources into our mobile website. You can go in there, link your phone number to it, log in, report an outage. There's also the map that you'll see on the various news situations or news channels during a storm situation. You can see that your area may have some outages, how many there may be, gives an estimated time of restoral. So it's a really good tool to check that out at firstenergycorp.com. Do it straight from there. And just a little bit more on the outages, why reporting is so important is that in a storm situation, really any outage situation where there's multiple outages, we will report, or we will first make hazards safe, so any downed wires or things like that people can get hurt with, we'll do that, and then we will really work largest to smallest. Our goal is to get as many people back on as quickly as we can, so we'll start at the transmission level, giving priority to critical facilities and so forth, work our way down to substation, into the distribution network, into the neighborhoods. So if your neighbors, no one reports a power outage and 100 people over in a different neighborhood reported a power outage, that can line up differently. We may not know that. So that's, again, encourage residents to report the outage because our system's just not smart enough to know it all the time. We have some predictability that we can pull, but unless someone knows about it, we can't do anything. So with that, that's my little spiel. Again, I do appreciate you letting me come out today. Is there anything that I can address?
Do you have this by any chance in like a PDF or something? Because maybe we could put it in the next newsletter or the newsletter as well. I don't know if you have like this as a PDF that we can.
There's information. I can look. I'll find something.
If you send it, and then maybe.
Scan it, too.
Yeah.
I'll see. There may be a PDF file, or I may be able to get the information in a file that you can upload in a digital form.
You should do that periodically, because we're a good conduit to our residents and communicate and give us important messages every couple months or so.
Yeah. Okay. Absolutely.
There's something to say.
Sure. No, I appreciate that. Thank you. I'll do that.
You report power outages online?
Yes. You go to firstenergycorp.com.
Oh, here's a text way too. Huh?
You can text it. So you text out to that lights number. It's the 544.
487.
It's lights with an extra S. You can text that. But yes, you can go on firstenergycorp.com.
Tweet it.
I don't know about that one.
Federally, we had a power outage here 2 weeks ago Friday, or 3 weeks ago Friday. That text service is great. I just texted that, told my neighbors to all do it, and gave us the frequent updates when it was going to be restored, and usually you guys are ahead of when it's going to be restored.
Yeah, the men and women that do the real work, as I call it, I get to come out and talk to you folks, those guys are great, and men and women are great. They really do a great job. It's impressive what they do, so thank you. I'll make sure I take that back and let them know.
How often do they go around looking for trees that are hanging over power lines, which are obviously the...
We do circuit patrols, our maintenance program for forestry work. They're on a 4-year cycle, so they'll go out. If you see crews come through, we'll go through, we'll trim. There's the method that they use. They'll go through to cut back for 4 years of growth. It's on a 4-year cycle.
All of them.
Yeah, if at any point you do see a tree limb that's hanging over a branch, you see any other potentially dangerous situation, please report that. If you see a wire down or a very precarious looking tree that looks, we had the storm 2 weeks ago. We're still getting some situations that are coming after that, so some trees are weak or whatever, and they'll fall. If you see something like that you're concerned about, we'll come out and look at it. Sometimes it may or may not be our responsibility, depending on where they are. We're not going to go outside of our right-of-way necessarily to take care of things. Sometimes it is the residents' responsibility. It's their tree. It's just like we wouldn't want to go down and just take people's trees just because it's easier. If you've got a 100-foot tree 40 feet away from a power line, is that really our responsibility to come in and take? And, I wouldn't want to take that either.
All right, any other questions? Thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Badge?
Moving on to motion to approve the special council meeting minutes of September 4th, 2019. Are there any, I'll make a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comments anybody has on that? If not, we call roll. Call roll, please.
Jarnes?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
Bilski?
Yes.
Cluter?
Yes.
Harry?
Yes.
Braverman? Duber?
Yes. I'll make a motion to reject all bids for the Miles Road Culvert Replacement Project and to ratify the rebidding of the project. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Zugan, do you want to come and explain this, please?
Where's the engineer?
I didn't want to pay him to come in.
Hopefully you all have the cover sheet here, but we put out Miles Road project this year. There's a culvert which runs through our town into the city of Solon. So this was going to be a joint project. We were waiting for local funding, which pushed it back to later in the year. But we did end up advertising, bidding, and as you can see, we're $60,000 over the engineer's estimate. So he has been looking at quantifying numbers and trying to see where things are, may have went wrong. I know one of the comments was that some of the head wall work over there isn't just like standard structures that you would order. It's a lot of like forming and stuff like that. There's not a lot of contractors in the area that do that more, which might have been one reason why the cost drove up. So we will put it on hold. He's already discussed with the city of Solon, and we'll look to rebid and come to some solution next year.
There's no rush to do this? There's no rush to do this?
No, we'll probably have to do some repairs. The culvert project was going through because we are having some failure on the culvert on the top, which is one of the reasons why, and but we're pretty confident we'll make it through the winter.
Bob,
The only question,
two questions. It seems to me unusual to have such a big variance between Brian's estimate and the actual bids. Was there anything that he saw in the bid breakdown that suggested where there might be a...
No, he was looking at that. He's on vacation, but he hasn't got back to me. He was taking those numbers and going to try and dissect it and see what the issues were.
Is this also in the area where we've had all these issues with the water line?
No.
Totally different.
This is actually by Cheswick area over there. It crosses over, so we're at our southeast corner of town.
Thank you.
I had was, I noticed that we're paying our engineer,
He still designed it, he still bid it, we still have a contract to pay him based on...
do we have to do it again, go through the same process?
We don't have to pay him again.
design.
I just noticed in the letter that said there would be some additional work done.
No, all the design work should be done, that's all there, nothing's changing from my understanding of our scope of work.
Okay.
This is a matter of just looking at where the numbers are, and if we have to adjust accordingly.
Are these, the contractors that actually bid it, have they done other work in Orange Village? These are,
Yes.
they're not,
You make me nauseous.
All right, thank you. We need to call roll.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do that. Would you call roll?
Okay. Charnas?
yes.
Bilski?
Yes.
Cluter?
Yes.
Perry?
Yes.
Braverman?
Yes.
Duber?
Yes.
It's written to reject, right? I mean, it's, okay.
Moving on to discussion of bills to be paid in the month of September in the amount of $502,923.36, and additional August expenses in the amount of $839,108.94. Anybody have any questions or concerns on the bills?
Just on an aside, NOCA, we're paying dues for NOCA. Ron was blessed memory, was very active in NOCA. Are we going to have somebody replace him and then, report back to us about the NOCA meetings? Are we going to go? What are we doing?
I think we definitely should.
After the election.
Or if anybody...
You and I will go as guests.
When the then I'll bring it up.
I'm going to the last meeting.
We'll go as guests.
Last meeting at the,
No, that's NOPEC. She said that.
oh, you're talking about NOCA?
Okay, remember?
Oh, well, that's all volunteer. I mean, we'll find somebody. We'll find somebody who's interested.
I've gone to many of the,
That, right?
Ron just invested himself in it, and
No, it's
Wow.
when we were novices, it's good to mix with other people from different communities and hear that,
Group,
it's nice, it is nice, but you're paying for it. You're paying for as many council people as possible to go, so.
It's a wonderful community opportunity. It is not a gourmet opportunity, I'll tell you.
No, that not.
far from it.
Any other, Mayor, what is, on the additional bills, expenses? Sterling Professional, fourth draw, the 44,000?
That's the company that's renovating our spaces.
Okay, that's what I had assumed, but, anything else?
The big numbers come from the TIF payment and the,
And the additional expense is 615,000 of that, and then 116,
that should be pointed out, because these are unusual numbers for our,
okay, I usually do point that out. Yes, huge numbers, big annual payments.
Huge.
That was the first payment of the TIF to the Orange schools. Next year it'll be at the big amount.
Good. All right. If no other comments, then we'll move on to audience comments relating to agenda.
Big payment for the trails on here, too.
Yeah, saw that. Moving on to audience comments relating to agenda items only. Anyone? Moving on to old business, pending legislation and motions, ordinance 2019-22, an ordinance amending section 125.20, finance administrator of the codified ordinances of Orange Village, to create the position of assistant treasurer, establishing the compensation range for that position, confirming the mayor's appointment of Catherine Cups to that position, and declaring an emergency. This is on for second reading. Any comments on this? Okay.
Actually, I do. For this and on an aside, it talks about the salary range from 30 to 85,000. And historically, I've always wanted to know, the mayor hires these people. Is it possible for us to have a printout of what people are earning?
You get the.
When is that going to?
November, December.
Okay. Yeah, because no, because it's helpful. The range is large, that's why.
Anything else? All right, moving on to new business. Ordinance 2019-24, an ordinance enacting new sections of Chapter 1142 and Chapter 1335 of the Orange Village Codified Ordinances to provide for the expiration of approvals granted by the Planning and Zoning Commission and Architectural Board of Review. This is on for first reading.
In essence, all this does, the bottom line of this whole ordinance,
is that after they get an approval, it expires if they haven't done significant work towards advancing it in a year. This will avoid the permissions from 12 years ago all of a sudden being built.
And this needs to go to planning.
Have you've had much of that?
What?
We had much of that? Yeah.
Much. One is enough.
Is there a bond forfeiture too? They forfeit any bond they put up?
They didn't bring a permit in, no.
No, this is one of those things that it's just a loophole that we have in the code. Context can change over the years, and so that's the reason why you want to have current approval. You don't want to have a stale approval.
Obviously.
But it does allow for an extension to be granted without having to go through further review. It is a reminder to applicants that if they do something or they gain approval for something, they need to do something in advancing it.
Keep the village process current with current conditions. And so an application would be judged as the conditions are on the ground today.
Something that was approved 9 years ago or 5 years ago might not be appropriate today.
How long does a building permit, if they get a building permit, how long do they have to build on a building?
This sort of tracks that. You've got 6 months to get started after you pull a permit.
Okay, so does this account for the fact, let's say it goes to planning and zoning, they get that approval, but then there's a long delay on their part to get a building permit?
Let's imagine that they can...
Imagine a hotel over in...
1 year minus a day. Pull a permit.
And then have
another 6 months.
Okay.
And do the things that extend it. So they have within their power the ability to make this run longer. It's not draconian.
As long as they're coming back and they're doing things and they're...
That's the way the system's set up.
That's what we're trying to get to instead of somebody who had approval a long time ago.
Is it correct that this is not retroactive?
Correct.
Not retroactive for anything that was already approved?
That's correct.
Okay. Yes. Moving on to ordinance 2019-25, an ordinance authorizing and granting consent to the Ohio Department of Transportation to undertake the widening of Scrim Boulevard, State Route 87, north side pavement between Orange Place and Brainerd Road in the village of Orange and Woodmere, and involving the city of Beechwood, and declaring an emergency. This is on for first reading.
Does this...
This is no cost to the village. The state of Ohio pays for our portion in the state route.
Are they really going to do it? I mean, how many years have
In
they-
2021.
By then, there'll be more traffic on the roads.
Rules tonight.
And our engineer has reviewed the plans. You'll still be here. Brian Mader's already seen them.
When did you say this would evolve, Mayor? 21?
I thought it was scheduled for 2021. Do you know, Bob? I just don't remember. I read it when it came in, but now I don't remember.
Be interesting.
Repave that, that was not very smart.
Yeah, well, no, they're widening it between the Brainards. No, this is a widening. This is a widening of Chagrin Boulevard on the north side between Orange Place and Brainerd Road in the village of Orange and Woodmere, and a teeny little bit in Beechwood.
Will that take out Moody?
Yes, I was going to ask that question. You're taking Mooney's out?
No, it's the other side of the street.
I was going to say that.
It will be done in,
Side of Chagrin.
of course,
Due course, that's
Due course is a good word.
when they get around to it, it'll be done.
all deliberate speed.
All right.
So we'll have our legislation ahead.
I mean, it doesn't have to linger around. We can move these pieces of paper out, but it doesn't have to be tonight.
Look at that difference there.
On to ordinance 2019-26, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a memorandum of understanding to obtain an option to purchase 80.3 acres of real property fronting on Harvard Road and running between Orange Place South and Brainerd Road from Sharon Briones, Elliot Weintraub, and Jay Weintraub, and declaring an emergency. This is on for first reading.
Ask that we just read it tonight. Next month, we'll have Paul come in, we'll have the MOU, we'll have all the documents you need to see, This is advancing the objective of preserving 50-plus acres on the eastern part of the Weintraub property, and allowing the 20 acres on the western portion along the frontage of Orange Place. We don't know to be what yet, but we're going to work with developers and apply. We've just worked on one grant for $1.2 million. We're working very hard to accumulate enough money so that we can preserve those 55 acres in perpetuity.
You're talking $9 million when I read,
Honey,
well, I was just, even if you get grant money, how much in total grant money are we expecting to get?
we're aiming to get $3 million in grant money. I don't know that we'll be successful at that, but $3 million, and then there is a portion of that price that is a charitable contribution, and there is another portion that will come from the developers, and I don't know how much of the details we should get into now until Paul's here and brings the documents.
You think the developers will be paying that kind of money for 24.4 acres, whomever they are, these vague people floating around?
There's some identifiable ones. I mean, no, I don't know if anything's going to happen. This is what I'm putting.
I know this is what you want. No, I know that.
In order to satisfy the grant application, the village has to have an interest in the real estate. And so this ordinance authorizes an option for, or a memorandum of understanding to obtain an option. And so it puts the village in a position, if all of these things happen, to have the interest in the property that is necessary to obtain the grant.
Steve, my question.
Should talk about this out loud.
The names of the individuals?
Well, we haven't done the title work yet.
Isn't it a trust?
Yeah, but everything they're signing is,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, no, we haven't done the title work yet or anything. This is how they're signing things.
We ought to be talking about, or any entity that they have, or, I mean.
Paul Singerman's talking to their attorney. I mean, the document you'll see will be,
I know this is only for reading, but that 9.5 million, is that a number they came up with? Is that a
Yeah.
number that anyone is?
that's their number. But we did have an appraisal of the conservation piece.
And do you think, will we as a village, will we have to put out some money for this?
Put out some money, we have to put out money for the attorneys, and we have to put out a little bit of money for some of the effort going into it.
I don't mean the effort, I mean to actually purchase if we had to purchase the land, if it came up short, would we have to put in some money? That's a nice vague answer, that sounds very political.
I want to say yes, no, it's not the plan to have to use any village money for acquisition. That's not the plan. If we get within $10,000,
No, I'm not talking 10,000, I'm talking
this is
big
a leap
bucks.
of faith. We have to have these pieces in place so that we can go to the next step to try to make it happen.
Are the Weintraub people, are they going to sit and wait for this, a year or two, or no?
The document that you will see, which I preferred not to talk about tonight, but the document that you will see gives us the right of first refusal. It gives them the right to continue to market it. We're not tying it up, but we will have the right of first refusal if they get a bona fide offer.
Well, the option's for 2 years, isn't that what it says?
That's what I read, yeah, I was just,
So this is the step before the memorandum. This is just an
no, I guess it, I just want to be sure that village funds, if we're going to put them out.
In the village funds until you guys have signed off on it.
I just want to make
Not
sure
asking.
that 9.5 million is, do we have to put a number though in? 'Cause
Yes.
Once they put
that's their
that
number.
there.
Ask Paul. When we bring Paul in, you ask him these tough questions.
A lot of that's in order to satisfy the grant agencies that will be reviewing this.
Better to have
you.
some sort of range. You hate to put that and then now the seller thinks that that's the number they're going to get no matter what.
Marketing on the open market, 11.5 million.
Yeah, but I can market my house for 30 million, but,
No, she-
Okay.
Why don't you, that's a good question to, if you want to jot that one down for Paul for next meeting, because,
Who's coming in next?
Paul, do you want him the 6th or the 13th?
um,
Assuming we have the choice.
yes, assuming we have the choice.
Oh, the 6th after the election, yeah.
6th.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't see a reason not to do the 6th.
Why not? What do you care which date?
There's an election, so you'll know.
Doesn't matter. Oh, they won't be able to hear the executive. It is after the election.
I know.
Fifth.
I don't think it, I mean, I don't know if it.
Saying, I mean, is that relevant?
Either day is
Either-
accurate.
I think either way, you have everybody who's on council and everybody who's running for council is here, and I expect them to be present and listen to this presentation, from Paul. So I think with that, I think it's,
Executive session, some of
But one of them may not be available on one of those dates, and we don't know who that is.
if we need to bring Paul back, then we could do it.
There you go.
So let's,
That being an executive session anyhow?
If he can come November 6th.
I think my curiosity's piqued about the development opportunity for the 24.4 acres. That's sort of, because I'm hoping if you...
Like to see there, Francis?
Well, it won't be green space because we're taking over all the rest of green space. And I don't want it to be any more commercial, if that's possible.
Commercial.
Has to be.
I mean, not commercial like we've got in Pinecrest commercial.
Retail?
Yeah.
I have some.
Hey, listen, I don't mean to put you on the spot. Think about it. If you have ideas what you'd like to see, please let me know.
Originally, we were looking at condominiums, remember?
Well,
Oh, but that was over the entire parcel.
is hotel, higher density residential, senior.
Senior, that's what I've heard, the senior business.
And you're right.
We're not doing it, but we're trying to make it happen. Okay.
But I mean,
We're taking a proactive,
Really, because they have to work with us, so it'd be something we'd support.
actively,
You the village, not me the village.
we're all the village. Every one of us.
Yeah, it'll be a more substantive conversation after you have the paperwork.
okay, Lisa, you had a comment?
Yeah, I want to make sure there's no fee associated with the option.
One question for section 5 there. Why does this require a vote of 5 members of council instead of 4?
For an emergency.
Okay, that's why, okay. Okay, thank you.
in case of emergency, break glass.
The last time that happened.
Any other comments on this? All right. Moving on to audience comments relating to matters which advance the good of the village. Anyone? Moving on to committee reports and comments by council members. Mrs. Perry?
I have no report.
Thank you. Mr. Jarnes?
I will say I attended the last few school board meetings. I know it's not a school thing, but in light of the fact of talking about development, one of the things that I heard at the school board meeting, which I think is important, that they were concerned about when they brought up the Beechbrook property for Pepper Pike, that they felt like the school board is not being included. And I just bring up the fact of, nothing that we've done yet, but I reiterate the fact that I think it was important to hear from them that anything that we talk about and when we get to a development thing, that it's important that the school board be included in something. And
We meet.
I heard from them. I just heard, they seemed a little concerned that they weren't included in the initial process with Beechbrook and Pepper.
We won't make the same mistake.
Mr. Braverman?
I didn't run this year for office, as you've all recognized. As a result, a lot of people have asked me what I'm going to do vis-a-vis Orange Village after December, and I've been thinking about that, and I have one idea that I just thought I'd throw out, not as a warning, but as just as a foreshadowing, shall we call it. I thought I might wind up doing a tell-all book, or a memoir, let's say.
I can contribute.
But, that will cover the 30 years that I've been involved. I've even toyed with the idea of letting Francis do the foreword.
Oh, that's very kind of you.
I'm not sure that's...
I'm the writer, that's very kind of you.
I was thinking about titles, and this evening when everybody left the room, the title I first came up with was, "You no longer don't have to attend the meeting to not hear me speak." That would be one title. And then I figured that's a little aggressive toward the residents. I don't want to upset my neighbors and friends. I'm probably, unless somebody else has a better suggestion before the end of the year, I'm going to go with, it takes a braverman to raise a village.
Oh. It's funny.
I don't even know what to say to that.
How do you follow that?
What's your book?
Writing a book at this time. On September 11th, we did not have a council meeting that night, but I attended the most recent meeting at Pepper Pike about Beach Brook, which was very interesting. I saw a brochure that had on the cover a front of what looks a lot like Pinecrest.
With a median.
Yep, yes, and it doesn't say Pinecrest. They were talking about the basic parameters, maximums of what they were envisioning there, and it's still rather rough, but it included up to 360 residences there. And it's still in the formulative stages, but it sounds like they're proceeding with some caution there. As somebody who deals with traffic at Lander Circle, I mean, I'm hopeful they'll do some traffic surveys and things. You may remember at the last meeting, they characterized all the additional traffic that Pinecrest caused. But hopefully they'll do their due diligence with the traffic studies there. And it sounds like it could be a combination of offices close to Chagrin, some retail, and much like at Pinecrest, where you have retail on the first floor and some housing above there. So it sounds very interesting. I'll be curious to see when the next meeting is and what comes out of that. But it does have to go to the voters before anything happens there.
How many acres is it? Do you know?
Is it 70-ish or something?
65, I think.
And 30% of it has to be maintained open.
Well, it has a riparian.
Right, and that, so there's Wiley Creek going through there. What was the date, Mayor, of the holiday party? I wanted to make sure I had that on the calendar. Was that December 13th?
Mm-hmm. Well, wait for my report.
Okay. And then I also wanted to let everybody know, unfortunately, I will miss the next meeting in early November as we have a pre-existing trip to Disney World that the kids have 3 or 4 days off. So I'm sorry I will miss the opportunity to congratulate everybody after the election.
I thought it'd be the Indians. You're going off somewhere for the Indians. Yeah.
Literally and figuratively.
Thank you. Mr. Klein.
All over but the crying. We've had 2 planning commission meetings between the last council meeting and today. Most of the work that Planning Commission reviewed was a number of new homes in the Lakes of Orange, some other new homes in the village, some signage, some updating some of the Pinecrest outdoor eating areas, including Red Steakhouse and Oak and Embers. Oak and Embers is hoping to open soon. We had some follow-up stuff with that, items with both Pinecrest's, Oak and Embers, and Red Steakhouse in the meeting last night that we approved and moved on, and some additional houses then, too. So Lakes of Orange is really filling in.
Can I ask you a question about Pinecrest? Is there any update on Dante's restaurant? Do you know?
Nothing that... It's still coming.
About 2-3 weeks ago, I saw Adam, and that was still ahead.
I was with Dante like 3 weeks ago, and he said spring, and the person we were with said spring of what year?
Interesting.
I haven't done any work as lining up investors still, from what he did.
Thanks.
Red will be, their targeting is November
Ooh,
for the holidays.
that'd be nice.
This year.
Ed?
That'd be nice.
November
Of this year.
19. and
2019.
Oak and Embers is this month.
This month?
This month.
Hey, Red?
That's Monday. Erev for Yom Kippur?
Yom Kippur.
That's nice.
Barbecue.
They like some ribs.
Break the fast.
Really?
That's,
Lakes of Orange, you were starting to...
yeah, we had 2 houses last night, and we had a couple houses at the previous meeting. They're filling in rather quickly over it.
Yeah, it's crazy how quickly they're filling in there.
And the big house is under construction.
Where's the big house?
It's a 14,000 square foot house.
Whoa.
Includes a museum.
Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
A lady in Canton bought a school and turned into a house, 45,000 square feet.
Whoa, that's a lot.
So, that's all I have to report.
Okay.
Ms. Cluter?
Yes, not very much tonight, but good luck to all the council candidates running for office. I wish you well, and I'm hoping to come and listen to you speak. You'll be sitting up here, and we'll ask you all those difficult questions that you're going to dread. So it should be a good night, and somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose, so you take it as you find it. And again, Lashana Tova, Happy New Year to everybody. May it be a good and peaceful year for all of us. Thank you.
All right, just a little advance notice to the council members. The annual holiday party will have a theme this year where we will all
You play games?
honor Francis and Herb for their decades and decades of service.
You better write your book before then.
Book signing as part of it.
Is it again?
Jeopardy topics,
Let me ask you if you're
herbisms.
13th Friday, but Anna already cleared the date with you.
What date?
You already know.
I got it, yes, she sent me, and I said yes. You said Friday, yeah.
We're available.
Will it be reasonable? Huh? Will it be reasonable?
What date did we say?
Friday, December 13th. I haven't decided yet. We might do it towards the end of the day. Haven't just nailed that down yet. Okay, so we look forward to that. You've got the most recent newsletter, but I don't know if any of you really focused on the used street sign auction. On the piano there is some of the street signs that were removed. We don't have that many because they broke off when they were taking them off, right, Bob? Like all the bolts, the nuts, they all broke off, right? See, I listen.
It's been up a long time, though.
There'll be an auction and go to it.
Who will be buying, I mean, I'm just curious, will people be buying these? Do you think they'll buy them?
Well, no, I got some from Shaker, but we didn't have to pay. Yeah, we've had people inquire and ask for them.
Really? That's cool.
Okay. I remind everybody about that important night on October 16th, Candidates Night. We have responses from the 5 council candidates, 6 council people and the 3 school board candidates. Everyone will be here. I have asked Herb, and he has agreed for his swan song to represent us one last time at the General Assembly meeting of NOPEC. Thank you, Herb. Anna, we have to get him the proxy, okay? And we have already been given official notice that we are now entering into police union negotiations. And I also give good luck, I would like to wish good luck to all the candidates. Everyone's working hard. Some will lose, stick around. We want you all to stay involved and be part of Orange Village. And I suggest that we call for a literal 3-minute executive session on land acquisition.
Okay.
Literally 3 minutes is all it will take.
Any other comments?
Yes, I just want to remind everybody about, what's the other thing, Anna?
Sorry?
That's everything. Read your newsletter.
Relative to campaign literature, that insofar as we have all the candidates here, be careful about putting campaign literature in mailboxes.
Oh, yeah.
We sent out a notice to them about that.
I just want to reiterate it.
There's a lot on there.
Yeah, because I've found a few in mailboxes, so that's not where they're supposed to be.
It's illegal. You can put it on the flag, I believe. Or maybe you can't do that now?
Can't do that either.
Oh, okay.
It was too easy for us, Francis.
It was.
Yeah.
That wasn't so easy. That wasn't so easy.
Any other comments, Mayor?
We haven't had that much literature, except a couple of pieces mailed.
Kudos to Dave for hanging around.
In the mailbox.
This board.
Oh, it could, yeah.
Now we're good. I'm just kidding.
Every year after the campaign's over,
You pick up the signs.
department goes up and we pick off all the election signs. It's something we do just to make sure everything's cleaned up. We will continue that. If you want your campaign sign, just let me know. We'll put them off to the side, okay?
Dumping on driveways again, or do we, is
You
it a
do-
pickup?
Mine came to my house.
Should be called to arrange.
That they delivered them to the house. The old signs.
I don't think I really have any other comments, so I'll make a motion to adjourn into executive session.
Second.
For the purpose of discussing the possible acquisition of real estate. Is there a second?
Second.
If you would call roll, please.
Motion out before you second it.
Yeah, I want to make sure I don't miss one.
Klein,
Yes.
Bilski,
Yes.
Luder,
Yes.
Harry. Yes. Braverman.
Win or lose.
Duber.
Yes.
You know, not literally, actually, I want actually, not literally.